guys, it's Sasha. Welcome back to my channel, and today I'm going to talk about the top 5 books that I read in autumn. So before I talk about those 5 books, I just want to ask you to check out the links in my description. They are cards that will direct you to different Black Lives Matter petitions and funds where you can donate to. I really implore you to try to just raise your voice for others that cannot. Every little bit helps. So the first book I read in autumn that I absolutely adored, and that was Born Darkly by Trisha Wolfe. This is a psychological, sexy thriller sort of book. It's a mix between like Saw and Harley Quinn and the Joker. It was so good. Like, I think it was the first book that I rated 5 stars this year. I read it for my owls, and I just could not put it down. So it focuses on this psychologist who basically tries to get people off death row, I believe. She starts seeing this one criminal who he's only on death row because he was killing people who basically got away with their murders and like weren't charged. It was definitely thought-provoking, and I loved the twists and turns that came with it. The whole pull that they had towards each other, I really enjoyed the romance and the aspect of their like evilness, and it was so good. I definitely recommend picking the book up. If you have a Kindle Unlimited subscription, you'll be able to grab it. The next book I want to talk about is Learn My Lesson by Katie Robert. I picked this up for the weekend Smartathon back in April, I believe, and it is a Hades, Hercules, Megara retelling set in a BDSM club, and it was so good. I loved everything about it. I just wanted to pick up more by Katie Robert, and I know this was the second book in this series, but it was 99 cents, so that's why I picked it up. I have yet to read the first book, Desperate Measures, but I will very soon. I don't know when, but I'll get there. I just really liked the action in this book. Not only the sex action, but also there was other action in it. And I just like the dynamics of like the doms and the subs. I'm not quite sure if it's a good representation of it, but I really enjoyed this representation, and hopefully someone will be able to comment down below if it is a good representation. And I'm not sure if you're comfortable sharing that, but definitely, if you're comfortable sharing it, let me know if it's good representation or not, because I really enjoyed it. The next 5-star book on this list is House of Earth and Blood by Sarah J. Maas. This is the first book in her Crescent City series. I love this book a lot. Focuses on Bryce, who's a half-fae, half-human female who is working in Crescent City. She's like partying it up, loving her life, and then her best friend and her werewolf pack gets murdered, and it's now 2 years been passed, and then the guy who was charged for their murder has been let out of jail, and the murders have started up again, and it might not actually have been that guy. So I loved the magic in this book, and I loved all the different paranormal beings in this book. It was so good, and I love Hunt and Bryce's relationship as well. We all know that Hunt is not going to be endgame because he's the first relationship, okay? So I'm not getting too attached to him, but I really hope that he does stay around, and I'm really excited to see where this story goes. The next book I want to talk about is Dear Martin by Nick Stone. So Dear Martin is about this black boy called Justice, who basically he goes to a predominantly white private school. He's just trying to get away from the stigma that he's in, and then one night he is walking alone and trying to stop his ex-girlfriend from drunk driving, but then a cop picks him up and arrests him because he racially profiled him, because he thought that he was doing something wrong because he was black. Just about just his life from there, and he starts this experiment called Dear Martin, where he writes letters to Martin Luther King Jr. and like trying to see what he would do in that situation. And there's lots of talk about like racism in this book, and I really enjoyed this book. I think everyone should pick it up. I didn't like that it was so short though. I wish it was longer, but there is a sequel coming out, so I'm excited to pick that one up very soon. And the last book on this list is A Lesson in Thorns by Sierra Simone. I love this book so much. It is about this girl called Poe, and well, she's not a girl, she's like almost 30 I think, and she's been offered this job as a librarian at this place called Thorn Chapel, and it's a place from when she was younger. So she accepts the job not only because it's Thorn Chapel, but it's also where her mum was last before she disappeared. So she's going there on like an ulterior motive, but she catches up with all these old friends from her childhood, and it's just all about them getting back together and like trying to find out the mysteries of Thorn Chapel. This is a very sexy book, guys, just an FYI. I really did enjoy this book, and I loved all the different characters in this little sixum they've got going on, and I cannot wait to read the next book. I've heard the next book has a little bit of incest in it, so I'm not too sure. I'm going to tread lightly in it, but if it's too much for me, then it's going to be. But like, we all read City of Bones, and like City of Glass, is it the second? City of Glass is the third one. That's just full of, yeah. But that's not, we're not going into that right now. So that's all the books that I have to talk about today. Let me know down below what was your favorite book that you read in autumn or spring if you're from the Northern Hemisphere. I hope you enjoyed watching. If you liked this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe if you want to see more. If you want to be my friend, you can add me on Goodreads, Instagram and Twitter. They're all at Sasha Reads, and I'll see you next time. Bye!